What's up, my AKA Padders? Let's get right into the chaos. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Rippaverse. We're ripping into the Rippaverse. Now, I know I said 1 week ago it was going to be Rip a Week. But I read these books. I reread them. You got to develop a perspective. You really have to put the time into what we're saying about Rippaverse, the time in comic book history that we're in, and if it even compares or translates to the past. Because we get a lot of these comparisons. I gotta get into this. I know I said I'm going to cut down on energy drinks this year. But Peter A DeLuca here, aka Pad69, and you guys know me throughout the multiverse, Philly, Europe, as the eclectic one. Cheers. I'm absolutely addicted to these. These are a lot. This is Alani Peach. This really does make my heart palpitate. It just gets, I get like a heavy chest feeling, but I can't stop drinking them. And well, we're all for living in the future. So cheers. So how do we look at this? How do we look at Isom #1? A couple years ago, you can find it on this channel, link down below. I sat down, I even did a time lapse of me reading Jawbreakers #1. Because I viewed the rise and the creation and everything that was happening around EVS, Comicsgate, your boy Zach, or Diversity in Comics back in the day. I really viewed that as the next wave of American comics. It was the next move. It was as significant as Image Comics. I know a lot of people want to look back at that time and, rewrite history a little bit. But let's be clear. The creation of crowd-funded comic books being viable, and I say the creation of it being viable because it only became viable because of controversy. Some of it's right, some of it's wrong, right? And then along the way, the creation of the comic book influencer happened. The people in comics, for comics, a lot of those guys are Comicsgate. You would call those guys the Comicsgate kings. They're like the last bastion. They're like the city on the shining hill, or the shining castle on the hill, as Reagan used to say. These, in my opinion, these guys are the keeper of the throne because they have a absolute history in American comic books, and they're continuing their practices in crowdfunding. Everything that has come after, even what we call the Iron Age, I may be misspeaking or incorrect on some of these. I don't know all the associations because that's complicated as hell. I need a flow chart for that. But even something like Iron Age and even something like Rippaverse, the emergence of that, we're dealing with influencer comics. So it's very hard, even with Jawbreakers #1. It's hard to compare like a Jawbreakers #1 against like a Shane Davis or EBS #1. Okay, because we have two comic book guys making comics, and then we have someone who's not in the industry who gains influence jumping into comics. So when I looked at Jawbreakers, it was with a curve. We curved it. The context of the curve is that this is a first-time dude making a first-time comic book. So we have to look at it. We have to look at it from that perspective. And that's how we're going to look at Isom, or Isom. I don't even know how you say this. There's a lot of wacky names in this guy's universe. We're going to look at Isom #1 with the perspective that this guy, we don't even know his name. We know it's Eric July, but we're just going to read it and then determine if we want to read what's next. Now, it's a little bit confusing when we actually buy, we buy a nice stack of Rippaverse books, right? We have a good stack here. So some of your curiosity is piqued when you're reading this and you know that there's like an alpha core waiting for you, a Ripperzine, or Isom number 2, there's a level of curiosity. But like full disclosure here, I just want to spoil a little bit for you. When we read Isom number 1, we do not want to read Isom number 2. Yara, who's teased in here, Yari, who's teased in here, and Alpha Core, who's in here, we really don't care. We really don't want to read them. But we have them, so so we have to read them. So some of this is also within the perspective. If someone gave me a stack of Chaos comics or Ultraverse comics or even Defiant comics, which I absolutely love, by the way, maybe a stack of Valiants, right? And they say, hey, here's a superhero universe, get into it. So we're extending one of our criteria. So we don't want to read Isom number 2, but we're going to read the stack. Well, let's hit that. Whoa. A little flaccid there. So let's hit the drawing table. We gotta go through Isom 1. And yes, I know it's repetitive. I know all the YouTubey boobies have been talking about Isom number 1. But we're going to go through it page by page. I'm going to get my white marker out. We have problems. It's a first-time writer, first-time publisher, but we have problems. And yes, you out there, if you're creating your own books, well, guess what? I'm going to show you guys what to avoid. And here's the thing. There's nothing Eric July can't fix if he just reprints this with extra pages. Why not just do that? Just do that. You know, like, that's the age of publishing we're living in. Extended edition solved the problems. Okay? Let's hit that drawing table. I'm getting sick of saying it, my AKA padders. Don't mind my completely dirty, filthy drawing table. We're making progress, so I was drawing a Demonite. But hey, guys, before we get into some Isom, say hello to our mascots, Crypt and Pike. What's up, boys? A lot of you guys know me just from my 90s comic book coverage. There we go. Let's just get all of this out of here. So previously, let's keep the little alligator up there. Because you know why, guys? I've been working on a secret alligator project. As a surprise for someone. So here it is. A lot of you asked me to... Not a lot of you. I got a couple DMs on it. People wanted to send this to me. They wanted to mail it to me. I bought this. I had to buy it. I don't accept free anything for reviews, just for the future. Coming up, we will do, Isom. We're going to go right into Alpha Core. Alpha Core, you can kind of, look, we have this covered. This might be cover C, but we can say, like, Alpha Core isn't heavily featured in Isom 1, but it's there. Like, these guys are there. And then we're going to do Isom 2 and then get into the Rippaverse. My big issue with Rippaverse is really the letter from the editor, ND Andrew. Like, a lot of bad comparisons and takes, kind of like in this area. We'll detail that. I know they're doing Rippaverse too, if I'm not mistaken. I'm curious. Like, I'm curious on if it's improved. I'm curious on if the reading, if Isom 2 reads a little bit better than 1. Isom 1 is not cross-gen, it's not Valiant, it's not Defiant. I want to show you guys something though. Let's see, where is it? It's right here. I wanted to show you guys this. This is one of my favorite, like, entries into a comic book universe. When Jim Shooter left Valiant, he had another round of investors, created Defiant Comics, and they did these trading cards. And the trading cards combined into the comic book that told you everything you needed to know about the Warriors of Plasma, the universe, the characters, all of it. previously on this channel, we cracked open a Dark Dominion box, which has, if you guys need names, Steve Ditko all over this. I always felt like this was one of the, like, the ways to introduce people to something new. What makes it more impressive is that it's a bunch of trading cards. I'm showing you this because I just want to be clear. Like, I love the character profile cards here. Like, all that stuff. I'm showing you this because I just want a little bit of street credit. Like, I put thought into my positions and what I say. I don't want to take away anyone's artwork. I know we have like a 3D asset controversy. Yes, it's bad. It's too noticeable. These, like, I kind of want to say these just appear, like, back in the day it was Poser. Poser was the app that kind of you could export into Photoshop and kind of filter ink lines, right? And Poser basically became Google SketchUp. But just like the buildings here and things like that, it takes you out of the book. I do like the Isom logo. I think it works. The trade dress here, like 50-50. I don't like the back. I think this guy might have been a contest winner. I think the Rippaverse logo is too long. I think for a comic, it should be a little bit more square. Just stuff like that. Like, it's nothing crazy. I got this cover because I think this was the only one available. The Canaan white cover is 100 times better. The whole point of this, like, let's just get into what the point is to get this guy who's essentially retired, right? He's retired back into his suit. This is his suit. Along the way, and guys, I get it. We're going back and forth here. But here it is. This is the last page. Still fits. So at the end, the next morning actually, but at the end of all of this, we're introduced to how they make superhero costumes, the facility, the growth, a little bit of the history of the facility, all through, you know, a nice conversation with exposition. My mind kind of explodes and crumbles when I see panels like this, because we kind of set up the sophisticated facility and we're already getting like AKA patterns. We're getting like this. Like, this is bad here. Like, you know, like, we're getting no scale of the building. Like, this kind of should have been like a real establishing shot, you know, like with like cool windows, some nice architecture, you know, with the truck. And then, you know, we have to use silhouettes, maybe with the sun in the sky. We have to use silhouettes. The tagging of these two guys, it's not quite there. And by the tagging, I mean, we want to tag this guy so he has like a different, cooler haircut. We just want him visibly different, more than one guy's wearing a suit and one guy's wearing a t-shirt. This is a little bit what I'm talking about, where like, you have an artist that can draw, illustrate, put these things together, come up with the ideas. I think coming up with the ideas as an artist, it's the biggest thing. Or you can't do it, you have other tools, and you struggle. And we know it's a struggle because, like, the background here, wasted. You know, like, this is fine, but when we get here, like, this is the production facility, right? Like, if you guys want to know how we use this shot, like, go to G.I. Joe: The Rise of Cobra when they reveal the G.I. Joe base, right? Like, the doors open and it's magnificent, right? It's like of scale. You know, we get these like silhouette figures here, like question mark, we get another silhouette here. We get a very, like, I don't know, like here, you know, like it's just none of, and some suits are here. It's just, it looks pedestrian. But Isom, yeah, our boy gets his suit, goes into a almost like this is where I think for the Terminator Judgment Day they had a like a toy where you could put the T-800 exoskeleton and then you could pump in the skin. It looks like that. But then he comes out and he has a very poorly designed costume. I never was drawn to the Isom costume. I get it in here. They make quips about it being old, it being kind of like antiquated, for lack of a better term. But it still fits, right? Like, that's the whole point. If we compare his costume, though, to, like let's just say when Alpha Core is introduced, okay? We have Braxwell, Brian Solari, and Ingrid Valdez. Okay, I mean, like, this is a good enough intro panel. We're okay. We got Yara here, right? She, like, you know, like, because we're doing things, and she's fighting everyone. Throughout the course of the book, we don't discover at all that kind of what this initial conflict is. And like, right here, like, this is kind of where the story kicks off. We don't know. Isom here, in the beginning, he gets a phone call, and he's got to track down this girl named Jessica. And he's like, look, you know I'm out. You know I'm out. And this girl's like, I'm hot. Because, right, come on, she looks attractive. She's like, I'm hot. You're back in. And then he jumps ship. And later, like, his farmer friend, what shows up here, we kind of learned that they're, Texas farmers, right? Like, hometown, homegrown Texas farmers. And this guy's delivering supplies, and he works with Isom, and he kind of needs some help, and he's getting along, and from there we're moving along. Not going to comment anything on the insert pages. So starting things off, we get, boss, did you have to slam the door? You told me to keep this under wraps. She's back. So this is Yari, right? Yara, okay? That's who's on the phone. That's who he's looking at. We have no idea. Like, when they're like, she's back, we have nothing. We never answered this question. And at the same time, she's back. And Isom here, he's training, right? Like, we have, okay, this is serviceable. This is horrible here. These silhouettes for this gym equipment. And guys, I'm not being critical. I'm just going through this as I would as an editor, if I was a publisher. If I was involved with this book, I would flag this. I would send this back to the artist. So very quickly, I mean, West Floors Park, Uptown 2 weeks ago. Okay, this is 2 weeks ago. I don't know why we don't have, like, captions here. Something to explain the scene. Well, he did finally reroute those funds. Former Governor Schreck left the South Side high and dry. And we can't forget about those masked weirdos helping us from time to time. They've been killing it lately. So we don't have like here and here, right? Like, we don't have a sense of the world. The masked heroes have been killing it, but so far, like, all the superheroes that we see very early, there's no mask. Like, Isom doesn't. There's no masks. I get it. That could be a term, like an in-universe term. So Isom, you know, he goes, I find my way back to that damn city. What is this? This needs to go. It just sticks out. For some reason, we're like filtering clouds, and we're not even able to like draw kind of like stylized clouds. I don't like these at all. I think we get some of them on the cover. Like, some of this works in this area, but this doesn't work. This does. I don't know what. I guess this is a fire. Like here, I don't know. It's question marks. I don't know. Blur the horizon line. 2, meaning we go from dark to light. here, it makes it look bigger, makes it look more real. But we get back to the city, and Yara here, she's just like, I do like this blood, like, flip here. But she, like, nukes this guy. And she's like, but thanks for the reassurance. And she just goes through these soldiers, like, you know, some of these guards, but then she gets involved with Alpha Corps. She nukes the Wonder Woman girl in the back. I like some of the effects. I like all the particles here, like, ripping apart. Or, like, splashing. Then it's Alpha Corps. So we don't know. We're already a couple pages in. And, like, again, like, there's no, like, caption. There's just nothing to tell us. I mean, like, we can kind of, like, you can fill this stuff in. We can explain everything just with captions or with, like a thought balloon. Like, it's coming from Yari here. Like, she's thinking as she's fighting. And she's explaining everything to us, right? Some of the action works, like this panel's good. So also we don't split the frame or split the panel. Here's what I'm talking about. This is more cinematography 101 than anything. It's not, you know, like some people might want to say it's storytelling 101. We'll use Big Red here. So let's just say we're introduced to Isom right here, okay? And he's on, look, we split it. He's on the left, right? Here, left. Here, left. He's on the right. He's not even anywhere here, but he's on the left, right? This is done well. Because, again, he's on the same side of the page that he's introduced on. Nice tag with him being red, right? It's communicated. This is his friend. His friend sees him on security cameras. This guy comes out. He's like, hey, I see this ugly-looking brother on the security cam, and look who it is. So, this dude's, like, super friendly. Like, you know, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. Good job splitting here, guys, right? Okay. Not so great, but, you know, we do a good job splitting. Because we get, look, left, or, well, he's still to the left of the evil business guy. Left, right. And then, here we go. They get into an argument. Follow me. Sit down. I'm good. Not a request. So, here, if we split, okay, we have right, left, right, left. Okay, center's fine. So already by the third page of this interaction, we just get confused. You have to say there's a lack of content overall. Because why is Isom like, you know, we need like some thought balloons or something. Like we need like a caption. We just need more. Like all of a sudden, like here, like you fix this because look, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You have 8 guys. This guy's like Brock Lesnar. He's our BL over here, Brock. Okay. We don't have any like. You go into one scene here. Here, like you have to pull back the camera. And you kind of have to do, it's not even, and again, you could probably just split the panel. You know, they're in the door, they're walking, but then we see kind of like other guys, and maybe there's like a big piece of artwork here. But we can kind of split this panel. Just to show we go from one scene to like scene 1 to scene 2 type stuff. But we don't establish all of these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 dudes. Okay, 8 guys, and we can have a caption here that says, I must have not been paying attention, but all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I was surrounded by 8 of these thugs, well-dressed right here. Like, you know, like that's why we have captions, or a thought balloon. So they talk, and this dude's like, look, man, don't you ridicule me. I built this empire. You're going to get it. So they get into a fight. He has Brock Lesnar right here. Brock, right? Good size up here. This isn't a bad panel. I like this panel. I like this page a lot, actually, because, you know, we're somewhat split, right? Look, we have Isom on the right, Isom right, Isom right, Isom right. Perfect. I like Gabe Talib. Good instincts here, coloring the red. You know, like emotion. And then boom, Isom tosses the dude. He goes, "Who the hell are you talking to me like that?" And then it's just like, you know, like we don't have a sense of scale. So if all of these guys are in the room, and this is the editor's job, if we have all of these guys in the room, you have to go back to the artist and be like, look, you have to establish these guys here. We need them on the last panel of this page. Like, we need them. We need you, because in the next page, we establish that he kind of gets bum rushed and punches the dude's guts out, flips the dude, and we have a little bit of a fight problem here. Because even when we fight, look, we're left. Okay, yeah, fist coming in left, center, but, you know, still left, but then right. And this would only work if you're going to go, like, if we split it and we're left on one side and we end it right here. This needs to be more of an anchor. This needs to be a little bit more of a pop. This, like, needs to end the scene, because we're going in this direction and then we're going in this direction. I would probably rather flip these two panels and end the page with this, because he's moving in this direction, which kind of would indicate to the reader, flip the page. And that's like some of the subliminal stuff. And here, too, like we have him on the left, but here he goes right. Okay, he's back on the left, center, but he's on the right here. Like left, right, left, right. It gets a little bit confusing. Just if we're reading, it's a quick read and we're going through it. It's not quite there. But again, this is a first effort, so we're not that critical over it. This guy, so they call these guys like excepts. They're excepts. They do a good job at explaining this into the book. They just say excepts is a term that caught on. Like, excellent. So they call them excepts. Excepts are basically superheroes, but this is really where the middle of the book breaks. Guys, good beginnings are easy, good endings are easy, but the middle is where, like, the ability and the talent comes in. Isom just gets tossed. He gets tossed off frame. This is perfect. See how this works? Same as here, right? Like, same here. This works because we know to flip. Same here. See, this is why this panel should be right here, because he's punching from left to right. We turn. But then he just randomly gets thrown. It's cool. Like, I love this. Like, I love this panel here. This is perfect, right? This is good. This is good stuff. Like, this page here is good. But the dude gets tossed. Isom gets tossed. And, like, it's this. Like, what the hell is this? We do a good job, you know, like left to right. Like, left to right. Right? Look. Left, right. Like, we're split. We're split perfectly. We're split perfectly. But we're not here. We're split perfectly. This can be flipped. This can be a flipped panel. Just flip it. But this whole thing, and then as he's like, oh, are you one of those? Are you with them? And she's like, what are you talking about? Undercover, that idiot thinks this is a sting. And then, like, they kind of face off, and she does, like, this super dash and takes him up in the air and then just drops him. This is a good page. Good splash page here. Like, you know, like, nice, good motions. Like, I think this, like, maybe needed, like, some more splash lines, okay? Like more splash, like more speed lines. These are bad clouds. Like these clouds should just be like freehand. You know, we kind of get them into the horizon like that. Even here, like, you know, like let's add some style. Like maybe put like a sun right behind her a little bit. But then like this is kind of, I guess like this is becoming like the Superman smashing the car moment. But he gets thrown into a car and then we have like Alpha Core. Just like watching, like they're just hanging out. Okay, cool. We talked about the farmer dude getting by without Isom there to help him. Isom just gets up from the hospital bed. Cool. Guys, good job here. Look, split, split, split. Ah, this girl should be right here. Would have been perfect. Almost. Like, this kind of works. Because he's like, hey, he's like, this alley is so beat up and distraught. No one even recognizes I'm, you know, just walking. Like, I'm just walking in the road. No one cares. You know, hooker girl comes up to him. They reference he's got like a bracelet, right? He has a bracelet, you know, like moves it from his ankle to his wrist. The girl who put him on the mission, she shows up, drops him off. They make some good references. I like the references that he kind of doesn't have clothes. That he's kind of living this boiled down lifestyle, purposely off the grid. Bad backgrounds here. These backgrounds bad here. This is okay. This is okay. Okay. This is bad. These 3D backgrounds really have to go. Gabe Talibi, boy, we need more blue here. We have to kind of tag the scene. Because, again, we're going from, like, one scene, one shade. This should be dark. This should be more yellow. You know, or I kind of like this. Like, that color way. Just, like, more throughout here. Like, it kind of works here. This is some, like, trace reference there. That's okay. We're moving on. And then, essentially, Isom just, he goes back to the club. Because he's all, you know, like, we go through some messages and gets the truck, drives off. We get like these are two individuals like trying to buy the club. We got Brock Lesnar back over here. They're trying to buy the club and they're excerpts or accepts and you know, whatever. Like I don't know exactly what they're doing, to be honest. But it's okay. Because guys, this is like a meaty book, you know? Like it's a meaty book throwing a lot of characters. So, Isom goes back to Club Merlot. I know this is ill-advised, but this has always been me. When you plan, you prep for the absolute worst, and when you don't have a plan, make it up along the way. Cool. That's Isom, right? That's Isom. And he runs into Jessica, the girl he's looking for, and they have this conversation, but with no resolution. The girl runs off, and you know, like he's get these two thugs on him, and then here we go. Like let's do a thug fight. They fight. They beat up. We kind of hear references. There's like like there's something happening out back. He fights his way into the club. This is cool. Like this is what we want. I think we needed more neon colors here to again tag that we're inside of a club. We have like no background. And guys, I only criticize the backgrounds here because I know we're working digital. And we're working digital, you can do things. You can do things you cannot do with pen and paper. So when they're not done this in here, it's more of a criticism. The big dude comes back. Isom stretches. This is a awkward stretch pose. Again, we try and split. We try and split. Halfway decent. But Isom kind of like tricks him. And then we have this like Frank Miller Daredevil speed motion. Kicks him in the back. Wasted splash page here. Wasted. And then Isom just basically... just like pushes him against the wall. This fight goes on for way too long. It doesn't have like this is kind of good. Like this is good. This is like, yeah, it's maybe a little too animatic. Like this sequence here should just be like, like right here. Like move this up. If we really are not using any word balloons, any captions. But Isom wins. This is bad. All of this background is bad. This back here is bad. But he's got some pursuers. Tries to get away. Like I'm okay with this. I think like here, like he should be facing this direction. Just again, just flip it. This is bad. But yeah, he gets on the rooftop. And then he goes back to his girl. And he's like, hey, why are you answering the door without like a gun? Or she's like, I saw you come up on the camera. He's looking at that booty. He's looking at that booty right there. He's like, like let's draw that booty. Like right here. See, like her booty should be like that. The girl comes in, right? The girl from here. And they're like, hey, you don't visit enough. She always talks about you. And she's like, are you an excerpt? You seem strong. He's like, you're too smart for your own good. And then we get into this sequence and we see Jessica is here. And we really don't get much of anything. This is just a criminal talking about taking more over. I have an empire. We're going to take more over. Okay. So we don't learn anything about the girl. And this is what I mean about a revelation with the girl would trigger us to want to read more and see what happens next. Everything here should have built the next stage for the next adventure, but it doesn't. So like, we're a little bit, and we still don't know what Yara is doing. We don't know what Alpha Core is doing. They're just kind of there. And again, too, we have to look at this as a first effort. It's a curve. But I think for the original price, that's what I have an issue with. I think $35, right? Like, I think this was $35, $25. Like 20, right? But then, like, you are paying for shipping. Like, this could be a $45 investment for a lot of people. I don't know what the rates were when it was originally funded or available, but I thought this was $35. I could be wrong. Feel free to correct me. But I just feel like with shipping added, like I wouldn't tell people you're missing out on Isom. I'm not. But, like Rippaverse said they did a sale, so we're just going to keep going. But we have to address that. It's not just the caveat. As a first effort, though, this is better than most. This is better than a lot of first efforts I've read.